And you will know my name is the Lord. I am God. Damn you all!
Here we are again. Welcome one, welcome all, to the one, the only, the home of the squeakiest chair in the world, the Junkshop Library Channel, home of Improv Bible Study, the Atheist Bible Study, where we read every last suffering word of the King James Bible of 1611, because it's the one in the public domain. And then rip at the new asshole it so profoundly deserves for being a misogynistic, misanthropic, racist, outdated, anti-humanist, general pile of garbage. That sounds appealing to you, by all means, stick around, hit that thumbs up, consider subscribing if you're not already, and pay as little attention as you can to the squeakiness of the chair, we're working on that, and to the periodic wobblies of the camera. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I see the chat beginning to fill up. Some fantastic people here. Anybody with a wrench, make sure and drop everybody's links shill away. Before we get started, y'all know I've got some folks I need to thank. In addition to some contributors to the life of the channel who wish to remain anonymous and whose wishes will thus be respected, I got to thank my fantastic patrons, the wonderful people whose names you see scrolling at the bottom of the screen at this moment, literally kept the channel on the air, or on the wire, or whatever. Over the course of the last year and change, during a very long and stressful time in the life of the channel, literally couldn't still be doing what I'm doing without y'all. I see you. I hear you. Thank you so very, very much. And more y'all need to start joining us on Sunday morning for our Catholic Catechism Chaos stream. We talked about exorcism this morning. Yes, exorcism. And I made lewd gestures with a rosary. Y'all don't know what you're missing. Patreon.com/JunkshopLibrary. In a special and particular, y'all know I got to shout out my top tier patron and first patron of longest standing, my friend and longtime supporter and shiller, the one and only Mr. Paul Kench. Thank you for all you've done for the channel over the last longer than I can conveniently remember, and disproportionately long with regard to the amount of content that Old Junkshop periodically puts out. Thank you. Who do we have in the chat? I have seen people, places, and things who has snuck in since I had to climb into the driver's seat over here and change out my background from the one that I use in the mornings on Sundays exclusively for my patrons. Let's see. I see Critical Crippled Dave. Good to see you, my friend, as always. Lovely. My fantastic spouse, the one and only Julie of the Wine and Reason channel. Fantastic. And I think that catches us up. Lisa for Truth, are you a thing? No, I'm fairly sure you're a person. Somebody drop Lisa's link. I think she's got a stream going on later today. Mark Caesar bought a rosary off of eBay to blaspheme it. Well, I wouldn't know anything about that. Jesus junk. Hashtag Jesus junk. Greg, no, you're not a bad person. I just very rarely go back and look at the chat, and it's not realistic for me to interact with it live in terms of wrenching people in the current setup. Note to self. Good friend of the channel. Nevermore says, I was raised Catholic and the BS is strong with it, and Nevermore is, as usual, correct. Let's see, there was something else I want. Oh, no, I wish I was that creative. No, Lucille came prefab. Dad loved this thing. Yeah, whatever. Anyway. Miss Shadow Kitty, hello, late of the Marimba Factory. Good to see you, my friend. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. There was something I was going to tell y'all. It landed like a butterfly on my brain. It flew away. It'll be back at some point if it's important. Y'all know how it is. I know we've got some new folks watching back the channel after the fact, rarely able to catch us live. Welcome. Thank y'all. I see y'all creeping in the back, hoping I don't notice, sitting down on the very last pew back there by the narthex. Thank you for coming. Whether you were brought here by the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the not particularly common these days mental health content, or the fish, glad to have you here. We're stuck in the book of Ezekiel, y'all. We've been stuck in the book of Ezekiel for quite some time at this point, and we're likely to be stuck in the book of Ezekiel for some considerable time to come, because as someone had the grace to point out to me recently, it's either the second or third longest book of the Bible, and had the absolute temerity to roll around just as I switched over to once a week improv Bible study. We're going to be here till kingdom fucking come. I knew there was something I forgot. This ain't for children. If you're children, you should go away. Ass covered? Ass covered. Good. Good. Yeah, PJ, unfortunately, there's a lot of coming to pass in Ezekiel too. If you're not familiar, particularly with the channel already, we do a blow-by-blow, verse-by-verse humanist deconstruction of the Book of Mormon, as well as the King James Bible. We do that on Saturday afternoons whenever I feel like it. Usually 5:30, tending more now towards 4:30, so that I can stop and go get some refreshment and be back in time for Atheist Church over on Lisa's channel. Okay. Let's see. What did we do last time? We ended with chapter 36, yes? I will sanctify my great name. I will sprinkle clean water upon you. I will multiply the fruit of the tree. I don't remember any of this, but it's been a long week. Aha, even the ancient high places, yes. A lot of aha in addition to the woe unto them that has bedeviled our journey through the book of Ezekiel. Hey, Ox, good to see you. Thank you for coming, my friend. Chapter 37. the hand of the Lord was upon me, and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set... Oh, here we go. Oh, at last. At long motherfucking last. Is Richard here? Like, I'm serious. Is Richard here? Because I want to know what Richard says about this. All right. Set me down in the midst of the valley which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord God, thou knowest. And he said unto me, Prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. So, I prophesied as I was commanded. And as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking. And the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then he said unto me, Prophesy unto the wind. Prophesy, Son of man, and say to the wind, Thus saith the Lord God, Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied, as he commanded me. And the breath came into them, and they lived, and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, Our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Therefore prophesy, and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, O my people, I will open your graves, and cause you to come up out of your graves, and bring you into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Lord, when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves. And I shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I, the Lord, have spoken it, and performed it, saith the Lord. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick, and write upon it, For Judah, and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick, and write upon it, For Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions. And join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou not shew us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes. And say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. And David, my servant, shall be king over them, and they shall all have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they, and their children, and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them, and I will place them and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I am the Lord, that I, the Lord, force a habit, and the heathen shall know that I, the Lord, do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. And there we have the 37th chapter of the book of the prophet Ezekiel. The vision of the valley of dry bones. The zombie army. Not the opera zombies. Opera zombies was back in Isaiah. This is the war zombies. A very great army. Ezekiel getting lifted up and put down in a whole bunch of places, y'all. Every time he has one of these fucking visions, it's him being plucked up from where he's at and carried off someplace else and sat down way over yonder. And all the shriekingly obvious dildo jokes aside, and the penis jokes, and the everything, all of the sex toy jokes, the stick metaphor and the promise of stick magic just as blindingly bloody. Why does God feel the need to explain it's stupid, as it seems like every other metaphor we've encountered in all the books of the prophets? I didn't think we were ever going to get out of the wisdom literature, and now all I want to do is go back. Give me some more Lord is my shepherd. This is fucking tedious. But at least we got the vision of zombies. The boat can leave now. If you got that, you're as big a fucking nerd as I am. Cheers. Welcome. Yeah, at least I know, right? At least he's not laying on his side for 40 days. What wisdom? Yeah. Well, at least in the classical textual analysis tradition, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the Song of Solomon are classed as the wisdom literature, as distinct from the history literature of earlier or the prophecy literature of later in the book. Robert X, greetings, my friend, all the way from Germany. Good to see you. Hello. It's been a minute. I can't believe we just had a vision of zombies and there's hardly anything to get your teeth into in this whole fucking chapter. There's just not a lot. I mean, once again, God is saying to one of these fucking prophets, did you miss any smiting? No. You missed the army of zombies in vision, but, you know, you win some, you lose some. Aside from... I mean, y'all, I don't know. There's just not a lot going on. It's just yet another instance of God saying to one of these fucking prophets, don't worry. Everybody's not going to die. Most of you are. Have no illusions. Most of you are going to die at the hands of the uncircumcised. But there will be a remnant. It's almost like this was written after the fact, and it's not actually prophecy after all. Perish the motherfucking thought. Spends a lot of time talking about his vision of the army of the dead, and then just kind of glosses over the miracle of having two sticks become one. God says it's going to happen. He doesn't even bother to recount that it did happen, just that God told him it would. I don't know. If Ezekiel can't be bothered, why should I be bothered? There will be a remnant. The remnant will return to Jerusalem. Yippee. Chapter 37. The hand of the Lord was upon me. I tell a lie. We just did 37. I was looking at the wrong side of the page. I'm going to have to go back to doing what Mark said and mark out all the chapters as I go by. Chapter 38. And the word of the Lord came, not the hand, but the word. The word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north borders and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. After many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste. But it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. Thus saith the Lord God, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of the unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil, and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, that dwell in the midst of the land. Sheba and Dedan, and the merchants of Tarshish, with all the young lions thereof, shall say unto thee, Art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, to take a great spoil? Therefore, Son of man, prophesy, and say unto Gog, Thus saith the Lord God, In that day when my people of Israel dwelleth safely, shalt thou not know it? And thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts, thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army. And thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes. Thus saith the Lord God, Art thou he of whom I have spoken in old time by my servants the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days many years that I would bring thee against them? And it shall come to pass at the same time, when Gog shall come up against the land of Israel, saith the Lord God, that my fury shall come up in my face. For in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel, so that the fishes of the sea, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the field, and all creeping things that creep upon the earth, and all the men that are upon the face of the earth, shall shake at my presence, and the mountains shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. And I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, saith the Lord God. Every man's sword shall be against his brother. And I will plead against him with pestilence and with blood, and I will rain upon him and upon his bands, and upon all the many people that are with him, an overflowing rain, and great hailstones, and fire, and brimstone. Thus will I magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am the Lord. And there we have, where the fuck did I put my bookmark? The 38th chapter of the book of the prophet Ezekiel. No rest for the wicked, huh? I'm getting confused on the timeline. Welcome, Richard. Peace and respect, my friend. I'm getting confused on the timeline because it seems like every time one of these prophets turns around and says, there will be peace in the land, and all men shall have their fill of eat and drink and milk and butter and honey, and everything's gonna be generally fine. There's going to be more war and more invasion, more armies out of the north. It's either shriekingly repetitive or something's got jumbled up along the way. I've got less and less faith in the editors of this poorly cobbled together anthology of Iron Age mythology and interior decorating instructions. Not to put too fine a point on it, y'all know me by now. Then ever before, every day, every time I read in this book, it seems like there's less and less sense making with each chapter that goes on. And y'all, oh my goodness, y'all pardon me. Everything's blooming at once down here because we finally got some springtime weather down here in the south, and oh my gosh, my nose may never stop itching again. Much as I hate to admit it, the interpretation of this hot mess that seems to make more and more sense as time goes on is the one originating with Mr. Madsen. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. And Richard, I'm sorry. I don't mean to make fun. But oh my God, this makes no goddamn sense. This, oh my stars. There is, like, you have to bring some kind of other lens to it, don't you? To read it, for it to make any sense? It rambles and blathers and goes round in circles and repeats itself on and over and over. This thing could be a pamphlet. This could be a chick tract. What you gonna do? Holy book's gonna holy book, y'all. I wonder if they're all like this. We know the Book of Mormon is. We're working our way through that slowly but surely on Saturdays. Maybe we should try another one. Maybe we should try one from a non-Abrahamic tradition. Not to replace what we're already doing, just sort of in addition to here on the channel. Maybe we should do the Bhagavad Gita or I'm drawing a blank. The name of some other holy book. Maybe we should do another one and just see if this is somehow a problem that's endemic to religious texts worldwide. Oh, Lisa, I've been tempted to do the Quran. I have. I'm scared to do the Quran, if I'm perfectly honest. That's a conversation for another time. If I'm being honest, and I strive always to be, I'm starting to get confused as to where the Bible ends and the Book of Mormon begins. I'm starting to, hey Mama, good to see you. I'm starting to as they bleed through each other in this Babylonian exile literature period, I'm really starting to get confused. Because we've got the Bible, where we're dealing with the book of Ezekiel right now, which, at least within the confines of the story itself, is written during the exile. The exile. One of the many exiles. The big-ass one. Hashtag big-ass exile down in the comments. And then over in the Book of Mormon, which some of us suffer through on Saturday evenings, we're dealing with something that, at least within the confines of the story, was written before the exile, prophesying the exile far down in the future, and yet references the book of Isaiah, which was written, at least within the confines of the story, closer to the present time of the events during which the Book of Mormon is supposedly set. It's Old Junkshop confused. I want to go back and do Judges again. Don't worry, I'm not gonna. What I want to do is go back in time and cancel the idea of plunging into the Book of Mormon. As much fun as it's been a couple of times, it's generally been a steaming pile of doo-doo. Oh no. Mark, is that why? Okay. I mean, prophetic literature, at least as much as we've encountered so far in Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, and the first two-thirds of Ezekiel, just haven't been particularly interesting. Because they've essentially all been prophesying the same thing. And yes, prophesying. There's no such word as prophesize. I've been known to use it from time to time for comedic effect, but it's not a real word. Prophesize. Sounds like a section of Old Navy where everything's made out of sackcloth and covered in ashes. Putting the improv. Back in improv Bible study, motherfuckers. Welcome aboard if you ain't been here before. Okay. So, the long and the short of it is, Israel's going to suffer greatly, but they ain't all going to die. Some of them going to be left over and going to come back to Jerusalem eventually, someday. Which has essentially been the gist of Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, and the first two-thirds of Ezekiel. Some of this stuff could have been left out. Just saying. Where are the editors when you need them? Got a bone, I say, to pick with the various councils of early church history who decided to leave some of this repetitive rubbish in. $39. 39. No, it is not just coffee. 39. Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog. Really? Still? Again? More? Prophesy against Gog, and say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief priest of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back, and leave but the sixth part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel, and I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and will cause thine arrows to fall out of thy right hand. Thou shalt fall upon the mountains of Israel, thou and all thy bands, and the people that is with thee. I will give thee unto the ravenous birds of every sort, and to the beasts of the field, to be devoured. And thou shalt fall upon the open field, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord God. And I will send a fire on Magog, and upon them that dwell carelessly in the isles, and they shall know that I am the Lord. So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel, and I will not let them pollute my holy name any more. And the heathen shall know that I am the Lord, the Holy One in Israel. Behold, it is come, and it is done, saith the Lord God. This is the day whereof I have spoken. And they that dwell in the cities of Israel shall go forth, and shall set on fire and burn the weapons, both the shields and the bucklers, the bows and the arrows, and the handstaves and the spears, and they shall burn them with fire 7 years, so that they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down out of any of the forests, for they shall burn the weapons with fire, and they shall spoil those that spoiled them, and rob those that robbed them, saith the Lord God. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will give unto Gog a place there of graves in Israel, the valley of the passengers on the east of the sea. And it shall stop the noses of the passengers, and there shall they bury Gog and all his multitude, and they shall call it the valley of Hamon Gog. And 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them, that they may cleanse the land. Yea, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renown, the day that I shall be glorified, saith the Lord God. And they shall sever out men of continual employment, passing through the land, to bury with the passengers those that remain upon the face of the earth, to cleanse them. After the end of 7 months shall they search. And the passengers that pass through the land, when any seeth a man's bone, then shall he set up a sign by it, till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hamon Gog. And also the name of the city shall be Hamonah. Thus shall they cleanse the land. And thou, son of man, saith the Lord God, speak unto every feathered fowl, and to every beast of the field, assemble yourselves, and come, gather yourselves on every side to my sacrifice that I do sacrifice for you, even a great sacrifice upon the mountains of Israel, that ye may eat flesh and drink blood. Ye shall eat the flesh of the mighty, and drink the blood of the princes of the earth, of rams, of lambs, and of goats, of bullocks, all of them fatlings of Bashan. And you shall eat fat till ye be full, and drink blood till ye be drunken of my sacrifice, which I have sacrificed for you. Thus ye shall be filled at my table with horses and chariots, with mighty men, and with all men of war, saith the Lord God. And I will set my glory among the heathen, and all the heathen shall see my judgment that I have executed, and my hand that I have laid upon them. So the house of Israel shall know that I am the Lord their God from that day and forward. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword, according to their uncleanness, and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. Therefore thus saith the Lord God, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my holy name. After that they have borne their shame and all their trespasses, whereby they have trespassed against me, when they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. When I have brought them again from the people, and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations, then shall they know that I am the Lord their God, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them, for I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel, saith the Lord God. And there we have the 39th chapter of the apparently unending book of the prophet Ezekiel, wherein the prophet Ezekiel saith more of the same. Hey, Spooky, what's going on? More judgment upon the enemy, and yet another reminder that it does not do to be the instrument of God's wrath. Because God gets bored with his toys and gets pissed off and breaks them. Because God does this a lot, y'all. Israel turns away from it. Israel worships other gods, offers, as it were, strange fire. Sucks up to other people. God gets cranky and God smites them. Not directly, mind you. He ain't do that shit no more. Smites them by means of other peoples. Peoples from out of the north and out of the west. Or the east, rather. The west is the Mediterranean Sea. And after they've been smote for a while, God sends a prophet and says, don't worry, y'all ain't all going to get smote. Some of you will survive and be brought back to Jerusalem. Repeat. 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 DC. Al-Qoda. But in this moment, God has gotten tired of the cycle and is going to stick by his word to set them up in Jerusalem forever and be among them forever, and they will forever praise his holy name. Neither shall they learn war anymore. We'll see how long that fucking lasts. Am I right? The more, yeah. Richard, you're not wrong. The more one reads of the Bible, the more they will disagree with Christians. Yep. There's just so little here. I mean, the entire book of Ezekiel so far has been Woe unto you, and woe unto you, and woe unto you, and woe unto you, and woe unto all ye motherfuckers over there, and woe to y'all. Y'all didn't think I was going to forget about you, did you? Woe unto them. And also woe unto Israel, because y'all motherfuckers will not stop worshiping other gods. Everybody gonna get smoked. But it's taken him 40 fucking chapters to do it. At least. For all the complaints I made about it. I can't believe these words are about to come out of my mouth. At least back in Psalms, you had some sort of variety. I feel dirty for saying it. But you remember my major complaint about the book of Psalms was there were essentially like only 4 or 5 kinds of Psalms. There was your God is so good Psalms, your we done fucked up Psalms, your please smite my enemies Psalms, and you know, some rare aberrations. This Ezekiel stuff is tedious. I don't know what to balance this with the Song of Psalms, to interject with the Song of Psalms to balance this out. Oh, we've done the Song of Solomon. We even did the nasty version of the Song of Solomon, but we did that over on Patreon because I didn't want my channel to get smoked. Shameless plug. Links to support the channel in the description below. LinkTree, all that good stuff. Okay, maybe maybe the first draft of the Bible was only 10 pages long, says Greg, and the editor said, add more filler. That I don't know that I've got a comeback for that. It's certainly how parts of it read. Whew, Lordy. We ain't never going to get through this book, are we? It's been almost an hour, and all I've done is complain about how much repetition and how tedious this book is. Why are y'all putting up with this mess? This is ridiculous. At least it's not an interior decoration manual. Am I right, Lisa? Shit. Okay. Well, I think that's where we're going to let it lie for now. Either next Sunday or at some point this week, if I really get to be in my bonnet to dive back into Holy Writ, we'll come back to chapter 40. 40, at least that ought to be easy to remember. 40, holy number, 40 days and 40 nights, 40, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, 43, 44, 5, 7, 48. There's only 48 chapters, and then we get into Daniel, which at least has some narrative to it periodically. And also, if memory serves, some wild batshit stuff. Not as wild and batshit as four-faced monsters on unicycles, but still wild-ass batshit apocalyptic literature soon to come. We're going to fix this chair situation soon, y'all. Richard's not wrong. He may indeed be the biggest Bible nerd in the history of this earth. Said with affection. Peace and respect. Mark the chapters that are done, says Mark. But where would we be without the running joke? Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming. It's been more fun than I would have anticipated such a blindingly tedious segment of Holy Writ could be. Thanks in no small part to y'all. Never again. Hello, if I haven't said hello before. Always good to have you there, my friend. Oh, make sure you subscribe. Somebody drop Junie's link if you don't mind. Make sure you subscribe to my friend Junie the Apostate's channel. She's really struggling to get her channel off the ground and has been stuck right around the half-century mark in terms of subscribers for entirely too long. Had the absolute pleasure to be interviewed with her in tandem with my wonderful spouse, Julie from Wine and Reason, recently, and that video will be out soon. We'd love to see y'all at the premiere. I think that's all I've got. I'm about profited out. We had profits yesterday, profits today, and we're going to have profits again sometime this week. Thank you, Dave. Greg says, yeah, next week I'm going to read actuarial tables. Might be more interesting. Who knows? Hit the bell notification so you always know when more riveting content is coming your way. Until we congregate again, everybody take care. Everybody be safe. Stand against hate. And as soon as you possibly motherfucking can, get that goddamn vaccine. It hurts like a son of a bitch, but less than dying. We'll see y'all around.